Health experts say hand hygiene helps to protect the health of the individual and also provide a positive economic impact for both the individual and the society as a whole. Little wonder that the campaign of keeping the hands clean became a topmost discussion at a public presentation last Tuesday in Abuja by the federal government in partnership with the World Health Organization and United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, who deemed it necessary to roll up a national roadmap on hand hygiene for all. The aim of having the roadmap is to give direction for collaborative efforts to implement the sanitation and hygiene programs under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6. The Minister of Water Resources, Mr. Suleiman Adamu, said the Nigeria roadmap is intended to identify strategic goals and opportunities for investments to improve hand hygiene, which will provide actions across the three pillars of political leadership, an enabling environment, and inclusive programming at scale to increase supply and demand. In his words, he had this to say, and I quote, "The roadmap has laid out a path for maximizing upcoming opportunities in the implementation of hand hygiene in homes, schools, and healthcare facilities, among others." End of quote. Nigeria Today will focus its discussion on the benefits of hand hygiene, and I'm joined by two experts in that field to avail us more information on the do's and don'ts for healthy hands. I'm Lydia Odijochi. Welcome to the program. With me in the studio to discuss benefits of hand hygiene is Mr. Emmanuel Olushola Awe. He is Director, Water Quality Control and Sanitation, Federal Ministry of Water Resources. Welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Are your hands clean?
Yes, always clean.
And reaching us via Zoom is Dr. Nuhu Suleiman Anyegu, Provost, College of Health Sciences and Technology, IDA. He was the immediate past Deputy National President, Environmental Health Officers Association of Nigeria. Good to have you joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right.
Viewers.
Okay.
You are most welcome.
Thank you. Let me start with my guest in the studio.
Thank you.
Now, we want you to just give us an overview what this hand hygiene roadmap for all launch that was presented by your ministry. Let Nigerians know more about it.
Yeah, I believe we all still remember the year 2020 when we had the COVID-19 and the whole country was mobilized to start washing their hands. Actually, Nigerians received the idea of washing hands and they took it very seriously during COVID-19. The same thing during Ebola time, hand washing was critical and the whole country embraced hand washing. But immediately the issue went down small, we all relaxed. The same thing happened during COVID-19. We relaxed after the COVID-19 incidents. During COVID-19, we were able to sensitize the children, the young ones in schools, even the head people, to embrace the idea of hand washing. In the schools, we had what we called group hand washing, that the children, they normally wash their hands in group before they eat. But all those things are gradually dying down. So the idea behind this is to ensure that we keep up the tempo and ensure that Nigerians keep washing their hands at critical times.
Okay. All right, Dr. Nuhu, if you can hear me loud and clear, what are the necessary things that the Nigerian government is doing or can do to further domesticate this hand hygiene exercise in Nigeria?
Yeah. It's a very important hygienic practice that will prevent loss of diseases. And let's take it from the individual before we get to government. from the individuals. I think professionals are here by sensitizing, health educating the members of our communities on the need to wash our hands before we eat our food and after eating food, and even after the use of toilets, or after involving ourselves in any activity that we must have dirtied our hands. And when we talk about government, the roles government can play, particularly through some donor agencies like UNICEF, Federal Minister of Environment, Federal Minister of Health, is to provide hand sanitizers like it was provided during the COVID-19 epidemics, because the major factor that was actually utilized then to prevent the contraction of the infection is regular washing of hands and the application of hand sanitizers. So it is important, therefore, for government to provide the members of the public with hand sanitizers and even soap. And there's some special towels, particularly in health facilities, hospitals, before any major procedures are being handled. Because if the hands are contaminated, when you touch the wound will be contaminated, and that will prevent healing. So government can actually empower the professionals, the environmental health officers, to actually carry out sensitization, health education, public enlightenment on the people to know the importance of hand washing, which is a major key in the prevention prevention of the contraction of common communicable diseases like amoebiasis, typhoid fever infection, and a lot of other excreta-related infections.
I'll still stay with you. What will be the role of subnationals and the local government in promoting the importance of hand hygiene for all?
Yeah, when we talk about the local government, when we talk about prevention of diseases, environmental health services, I think it's a key function of the local government. In the local government areas, we have environmental health practitioners, the environmental health assistant, environmental technicians, and environmental health officers, and environmental technologies. We have these people in the employment of local government. One key thing that government can do is to empower these officials, provide them with logistics, provide them with tools with which they can carry out sensitization, advocacy, health education, public enlightenment on the need for people to regularly wash their hands so that they won't carry contaminated hands to food and water. That is on the part of the local government. Similar thing also can be carried out by the state government. We have environmental health officers in the employment of the state governments, like in the Ministry of Environment, in the Ministry of Health, even with some other agencies of government. We have environmental health officers there. They should be empowered. They should be given logistics. They should be given the tools like vehicles that are having special communication gadget system so that they can carry out public enlightenment on the need for the members of the public to wash their hands regularly, particularly before they touch food, before you serve food, even after the use of toilet. We need to get our hands washed, else we will be carrying microorganisms from our feces to our mouth directly, what we call fecal-oral transmission. And but by the time the hands are properly washed, some of the debris that are fecal in nature, that may carry bacteria, carry virus, carry protozoal organisms, they will be washed off with soap and water before you ever touch the food and before your hands get into your mouth. And this will go a long way to prevent infections.
Very much. In fact, from your response, I can remember before the advent of COVID-19, hand hygiene, the hand hygiene was really poor amongst Nigerians. You go buy, for example, suya or roadside vendors, they serve you food. Sometimes they just, their hands are clean. Terrible. Okay, let me continue. Considering our nature and attitude to life and our customs generally, will the roadmap further increase the awareness of Nigerians on developing initiatives for inclusive hand hygiene in all contexts of human existence, especially in Nigeria, now that people think that there's no more COVID-19?
Yeah, the roadmap can help a lot. The main things required to wash our hands are water, soap, and the facilities. So we are suggesting that we should increase demand and supply in the area of the facilities required. What are the things required to as facilities to wash our hands? Wash hand basins, if you have maybe in the urban areas, you have buckets and the basin to collect the water as they wash. There are some in rural areas we introduce what we call tippy taps, where you have bottles, just put a little water and then wash hands with soap. So, provided these three are available, then we can guarantee effective hand washing. Without water, you can't wash hands. So you need, water is critical. And that is why the Ministry of Water Resources have been promoting hand washing. In the process of promoting hand washing, you have to promote water supply. You have to promote the basin to be used to wash hands. And without these facilities being available, making noise will not help. Because where will they go to wash hands? If you want to wash hands and the water is just not there, how will you wash it? If you want to wash hands and don't have soap, you will wash the hands, but it's not going to be effective. Because the microbes are still going to be in your hands.
Especially if the water is not running.
It is better to wash it under running water. So, but we can adjust that. We can have buckets and open the tap, make it to be running, and where you wash. It doesn't have to be tap all around for the purposes of rural areas where they don't have pipe-borne water.
Yes.
They can still wash their hands.
Okay, you from the Ministry of Water Resources, what is the ministry doing in regards to water pollution, sensitization and awareness, especially in the rural areas where people dump all kinds of things in waterways, defecate in waterways? It's terrible.
It's a very terrible situation we are in our country. There are people that even their waste, what we call fecal sludge, they remove the waste and dump on waterways. So what the Honorable Minister has been trying to do for some years now is to put a stop into such things. So what we do is try to enlighten the public, tell them the repercussions of dumping fecal sludge into our waterways. Tell them about the repercussions of even solid waste, other dumping sites, very close to water points. So those are there are a lot of issues with respect to waste management in Nigeria. And we are equally promoting that to ensure that we have sustainable way of managing our waste. Don't dump waste into water bodies. And we are equally trying to ensure that the water that is served to the people is safe enough for them to drink.
Very important, because they say water is life.
Water is everything.
Let's have a break here. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times Channel 101, Freak TV Channel 703, GSTV Channel 419, and Go TV Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers. NTA News 24, news and more news.
Welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today, and I still have my guest here with me, Director, Water Quality Control and Sanitation, Mr. Emmanuel Olushola Awe, and Dr. Nuhu Solomon Anyegu, joining us via Zoom, Provost College of Health Sciences, IDA. Now, Dr. Nuhu, what is this roadmap set to achieve, both in the long and short run?
Talking about the roadmap for...
I'm talking about the roadmap on hand hygiene that was launched recently. What is going to be the long-term and short-term benefits? What do you hope to achieve?
Yes. The government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in line with the World Health Organization principles of disease prevention, has launched a roadmap with a view to sensitize members of the public on the need to develop the culture of regular hand washing, because that is key to the prevention of diseases, contraction of fecal-oral types of diseases that human beings commonly contract as we interact with our environment on a daily basis. Now, when you talk about the short-term goals, one, prevention of the contraction of common communicable diseases. Today, we are hearing of outbreak of cholera. There is outbreak of amoebiasis, typhoid fever, very endemic in our different communities. All these are prevalent in our communities because of insanitary practices. People not washing their hands before they eat the food, or even after the use of toilet, or handling any contaminated materials. So the key thing that we are bound to achieve is that as the people are thoroughly sensitized, as the people are properly enlightened, and the people are properly health educated, people will develop a kind of definite behavioral change. And this change will continue to prevent the contraction of common communicable diseases among the people of the community. Then when we talk about the long-term range, government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they are trying to expand activities and services that will carry this information to every strata of our human society. And that is why today we're talking about carrying out, inculcating into the curriculum of the secondary schools and the various tertiary institutions, so that every individual will be properly informed on the need to properly wash our hands before we eat our food and after eating the food, and even after the use of toilet, or when we carry out any activity that would have soiled our hands on a daily basis. This will go a long way in the prevention of common communicable diseases among the community.
Okay, I still want to stay with you. What will be the role of citizens in this? And can you itemize the benefits of incurred in doing this? That is, I mean, what is expected of Nigerians now?
Yeah, it is expected of Nigerians to adhere strictly to these rules of hygiene that is being handed over to them. We have professionals in different, at the different levels of government. We have them at the local government, we have environmental officers at the state government, and we have them at the federal level. So all the information that is being passed across to the people, there's their need for the people to adhere strictly to this very instruction in the benefit of their own very life. And again, government spend a lot of money in organizing workshops, seminars for professionals, so that they will be able to hand this information again down to the grassroots. So as the people are informed, as these messages are carried to the grassroots, maybe carry it to the traditional council, carry it to the youth, the market women, even the artisans in the community, even the educationists that are not well informed on matters related to health, then our responsibility is for us to adhere strictly to this very instruction on hand hygiene that is being passed across to us. And when we do that, it will go a long way in preventing us from contracting common communicable diseases that we contract as a result of dirty and contaminated hands.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Emmanuel, is there any investment or are there any investment opportunities for the private sector in this program?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
A lot. The private sector can participate even in promoting the idea to the communities where they practice their industry. For example, there's nothing bad in the private organization constructing toilets with hand washing facilities in their area of jurisdiction where they work for the public. There's nothing bad in private sector coming in a way to innovate some ideas, bringing in innovation into hand washing facilities. You know, I described some for you the other time, that you can have basin in homes, we can have buckets and collective basin with your soap to wash hands. You can even have bottles. But during COVID, you see a lot of innovations coming in.
Yes.
From the private sector, the pedal type, the one that even you don't touchless. And those are the ways that they can bring in innovation into the
and of course,
subsector.
The hand sanitizers, different kinds.
Hand sanitizer.
Okay, as part of the minister's speech, he said this roadmap will help to improve access to basic and improve sanitation and hygiene services sustainably.
Yeah.
Can you explain further? Because
the roadmap has defined a lot of roles and responsibilities for all the stakeholders, national and the sub-national. They all have roles to play. The private sector have roles to play. The development partners have roles to play. The NGOs that we have, they all have roles to play. So in promoting hand washing, we can equally be promoting sanitation. We can equally mainstream hand washing into the open defecation campaign that the government is doing. And you cannot stop open defecation without improving on the facilities that we have around, especially in the schools and in the health centers, in marketplaces, in our churches. So we are trying to ensure that hand washing facilities are provided along as you provide sanitation facilities. Okay. So that is why maybe in toilet you see your bath along with your hand washing basin and the toilet. Mm-hmm. So all these are combined together to ensure that we don't leave any of them behind.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, Dr. Nuhu, one final question. How aware do you think the ordinary Nigerian is on this issue of hand washing? And what advice do you have for government?
Come up again.
I said, how aware is the ordinary Nigerian on the importance of hand washing, and what final advice would you give to the government to ensure that this is successful?
I want to believe that as of today, ignorance permeates through the different strata of our human society. And in the cycle of disease causation, ignorance is a factor. People are not well informed. And because they are not well informed, that occasions the behavior they put up. Some people do not wash their hands before they eat food. Some people visit the toilet. After using the toilet, they move straight to the dining. And some don't even wash their hands. Or they go to kitchen to prepare food without washing their hands, and therefore carrying some elements of excreta to our food directly. So I want to say that the societies are still, a greater proportion of our human society is still very ignorant on this very matter that we're talking about. And that is why I still want to advocate for the empowerment of the environmental practitioners to be empowered to actually carry out sensitization, health education, health campaign at different levels so that people should be properly informed, because I believe that people are still not well informed.
Awareness is key. When there's knowledge, there's power. Everybody knows the right thing to do, and of course, it will become a success. Well, that's it for this episode. But I won't sign off without first appreciating my guest, Dr. Nuhu Solomon Anyegu, Provost, College of Health Sciences, IDA. Thank you for taking time out to be with us via Zoom.
Thank you very much.
And also with me in the studio, Mr. Emmanuel Olushola Awe, Director, Water Quality Control and Sanitation, Federal Ministry of Water Resources. Thank you so much for availing us some information on the benefits of hand hygiene. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And to you, our viewer, we always thank you for being a part of the program. You make it worth a while. But remember, tomorrow is another day for another episode. You can also watch this episode and others at www.youtube.com/ntn24hub. I'm Lydia Odijo. She's saying bye for now. See you tomorrow.